Welcome back to the channel. I have something super exciting I want to share with you guys today. I just purchased my first supercar of this.
Just kidding, guys. If you haven't seen my latest Mclaren video, stop everything you're doing right now and watch it right now. Some very important things happen in that video. One, I introduced you to two very important people in my life, and we brought back an old friend of mine, someone you haven't seen in a very long time. Linda Lucia. She helped me pull the dead car out of the lift bay, and she helped with a couple of my bags during the rally. Oh, and I bought a Mclaren. I also learned that Mclarens are mostly held together by double-sided tape. Yes, the whole car is pretty much glued and taped together, so it's that much more fun to glue it all back together when I'm done. And it seems like all YouTubers at some point eventually get one, and some greedy YouTubers have two of them, and we're actually going to talk about that one YouTuber today. I just want one, he has two, and the only one that I could afford was at a dealership in Miami. And let me tell you something about Miami. I've been to Miami multiple times, and Miami is a great place to live if you make over $250,000 a year. And if you don't make that, it's not a good life experience. To get to the nice areas, you have to drive through the not so nice areas, in which you will be carjacked because it has the highest rates of motor vehicle theft and also a higher crime rate than New York. But it's so sunny. Anyways, I bought a McLaren 720, my favorite supercar of all time, and it has all kinds of issues that I'm discovering the more I uncover. Cracked windshield, cracked roof glass, major misfiring issues, body damage, the car won't stay running. But today, we're going to talk about the controversy behind Tavarish's P1 build and his hybrid system, while I'll be fixing mine in my home garage with duct tape, expanding foam, and Harbor Freight tools, which won't be easy because you know, they're Harbor Freight tools. But you know what is easy? Making a website with Squarespace. It's easy to claim a domain or URL like www.iwasrobbedinmiami, that's why I don't like it.com, or www.I-paid-a-lot-of-money-for-a-car-held-together-by-double-sided-tape.com. Then you get a custom site that matches your style and enthusiasm. Check out these page templates because they'll make your web page look better than the look people give you when you tell them you own a McLaren when you look like a medieval peasant. Head to www.squarespace.com/richrebuilds to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code in the description box below. Shout out to Squarespace for making platforms of people's passions no matter what the cost. Now let's talk about this controversy, shall we?
Hello guys, as you can see, I'm in front of my actual McLaren 720S while wearing Garfield pajamas, sitting on top of a Home Depot bucket while my supercar is being held up by Harbor Freight jack stands. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt today, okay? I want to talk to you guys about an up-and-coming YouTuber named Tavarish. And Tavarish, he has a car rebuilding channel that generally focuses on higher end cars. Like I think he's owned like 10 Lamborghinis, okay, maybe 8 because 2 were fake, multiple Ferraris, 2 McLarens, and the occasional Pimp My Ride van sprinkled in there here there. He's currently in the process of rebuilding his most ambitious project ever, as he likes to call them, a flooded McLaren P1. And the P1 is a hybrid supercar made by McLaren. And he bought one that was in the Florida flood and decided to rebuild it for the price of $600,000. Yes, that's $600,000 for a broken car. So far, he's made 11 videos. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of each video to give you a little bit more context. Now, the first video was, hey guys, I just bought this thing. The second video, he's taking it apart and working on the undercarriage. The third video was a little bit more undercarriage work, and it was us helping him remove the high voltage battery. I was in that one, shameless plug. The fourth video was more undercarriage work, but it added a little bit more dry ice blasting to it. The fifth video was bringing it to McLaren to look at, guess what? The undercarriage. The sixth video was a really interesting video about the batteries, and this video will be referenced in this video multiple times. So keep that in mind. And the next one, the engine comes out. Next one after that, we're back to more undercarriage work again. But this is another very important video because Tavarish reveals the carbon fiber body. He also revealed the goal of having the highest top speed and the fastest McLaren ever. That video will also be referenced. In the next video, you won't believe what happens. They took the engine apart and some more undercarriage work. And in 10 was the most important video. I was in it. It was taking the battery apart to reveal just how bad it was. And oh yeah, Jay Leno was in it too, I guess. That will be referenced as well. And in the 11th video are when things took a dark turn. He reveals that he is not going to reinstall the hybrid system. He is going to remove it. And Tavarish usually kind of stays at the edge of caution. He doesn't want to bother or offend anyone. So his comment section is usually the typical ego stroking. We love you so much, Freddie, but not this one. This comment section was insane. Go look for yourself. Pretty much every single comment was complaining about Freddie's decision to remove the hybrid drive system. I can't believe this. I'm unsubscribing. I'm not interested anymore. And I just want to tell you guys that I personally am thankful for every single subscriber that I have. But when you start talking about a free platform like YouTube, You pay nothing out of pocket, and that means everyone has access. And I think everyone should have access to YouTube, but not everyone should have access to comments. You get people from all walks of life, people that think they know a lot of things, but unfortunately really don't. And what happens is people start forming a hive mind. And when one person says something, the others fall in the line, they agree, and no one really knows why they're doing things anymore. One of my favorite comedians of all time was George Carlin, and he loves to say he loves people one by one. But when they form groups, that's when things go south and they all share the same brain and are incapable of an independent thought. Now, I want to let you guys know that I feel partially responsible for Freddie's decision to remove the system. I've said it was a waste of time since day one, so I'm going to lay it all out for you guys as to my reasoning why. Now, what is the hybrid drive system in a McLaren P1? Well, it consists of a battery pack and a 176 horsepower electric motor bolted to the engine block of the McLaren P1. It can give the car a boost in power when the battery is fully charged. So you drive the battery constantly, it's being charged by the engine, and you drive it and you get some power and you push the iPass button, which stands for instant power assist, where you get another 170 horsepower boost. Then the battery has to charge again. Then you get a boost and the battery charges and you boost. It's like a small shot of nitrous effectively. Now, the hybrid system in the McLaren P1, as cool as it is now outdated as its 10-year-old technology. Now, from modern standards, it doesn't do much for the car anymore. And I stand by this statement. I do not believe that the hybrid system in the P1 does much for the car from a modern standard. I'm going to use facts in this video, not emotions. Most of the comments are emotional responses and say, you're an idiot for not wanting to keep the hybrid drive system. The hybrid drive is what made a McLaren P1 so special. Now it's just a 650 or a 720. Now it's going to be like every other McLaren. No, it's going to be faster. If he keeps the hybrid system, it'll be like every other McLaren P1. People don't know what the definition of the unique is. It will be the only P1 of its kind. The common theme in the video's comments were people stating what they wanted, but they didn't really know why they wanted it. Not a single person went into an explanation as to why the system should be kept. Most just didn't know why they wanted something. It just seemed right to ask for it. Someone actually referenced a Top Gear video as their justification as to why the hybrid system should be kept. And after watching that video, Jeremy Clarkson just said the car was insanely fast and the hybrid drive system was meant to reduce turbo lag. When a few friends texted me to tell me about Freddie's decision, I asked them why they were so upset, and they were like, I don't know, it just seems cool to have. I mean, there's a button on the steering wheel, look at it. Boop, 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 boop. The way I see it is the hybrid drive is old and new tech has outpaced it. There is a weight savings of hundreds of pounds by removing this system. 400 pounds to be exact, and the complexity factor goes down fourfold. While many think it's cute to push a button to gain another 170 horsepower when the battery is full, what makes more sense is building the engine so you get the 170 horsepower extra all of the time. The hybrid system did very little for this car. The track comparison times between different models of McLarens proved this. The 765 is faster than the P1, and the P1 has more power. I'll repeat that. The 765 is faster than the P1, and it doesn't have an e-motor, weighs more than the P1, and on paper, it has 150 horsepower less. Any guesses why? Probably the 400-pound weight difference doesn't help. And I know the P1's a decade old, so the guys are saying, yeah, it's just a 720. It's not a P1 anymore without the hybrid drive. Let's break that down. I have some bad news for you. The McLaren P1's engine is really just a 12C engine with more boost. Yes, the ugliest McLaren, but the most popular one, shares the same engine with the P1. All it is another e-motor bolted to the block and more boost. In my opinion, the 720 engine is superior to the McLaren P1 engine, which is based on a 12C with more boost. So when someone says it's basically a 720 engine, that actually makes it better. Now, I'm quoting this from McLaren. A button on the steering wheel will allow drivers to use the electric motor's boost system on command. The electric motor also provides faster shifts for the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. It does this applying negative torque to the engine during a shift, which more quickly reduces the gas engine's RPMs to the necessary speed for the gear change. So the electric motor helps in engine power, but it also helps in speeding up the shifts. Do you know what? Time has passed and transmissions shift a lot faster now. So there is no need for an electric motor to speed up your shifts at the cost penalty of 400 pounds. McLaren also said they introduced a new battery pack, and the new battery weighs 121 pounds less than the original 211 pounds, meaning it tips the scales at just 90 pounds. And this reduced weight has multiple performance benefits. McLaren said this: improving handling, acceleration. The updated P1 battery pack enables the hypercar to hit 186 miles an hour from a standstill, half a second quicker, reducing the sprint to 16.1 seconds around the 7.8 long high-speed Nürburgring, whatever. The P1 shaves half a second off its best time with the new battery. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that less weight equals better performance?
Now, a lot of you have been telling me just keep it stock, but I think that if we're going to build it, we need to build it better. The stock horsepower is 903 to between 1200 and 1400. And I know that the P1 was supposed to be a spiritual successor to the F1. I want to make it a true spiritual successor, and that means it has to be the fastest McLaren in the world. We have to go 250 plus.
His goal is to have the fastest McLaren. What should he do? Should he increase the weight of the car by 400 pounds? Or should he reduce the weight of the car by 400 pounds to have the fastest McLaren? What do you guys think?
Boys and girls, we finally were able to remove all 4 accumulators out of the 720S and replace them with the 765 LT accumulators, which are much better for the car. We're actually going to send these out. Believe it or not, there's actually a service that rebuilds these because these things cost a small fortune a piece. I think even with a discount, they're still about $800 a piece, which is actually insane. So obviously there's a service online that wants to rebuild these, and I'm going to head in the Arcimoto right now. As you can see, it's right there waiting for me. Head to the post office to ship these out using ShipStation. It's the fastest, easiest, and most affordable way to manage and ship your orders. In a few clicks, you're managing orders like a professional, printing out discounted shipping labels, and getting your products out fast too. And it works with all the major carriers: USPS, FedEx, I'm wearing the shirt today, and UPS, even international shipping. I do not work for FedEx at all. I just thought I'd wear the shirt because I think it's kind of cool. And you can compare and choose the best shipping solution every single time. And they offer big discounts on shipping costs. And you can access the same postage and discounts that I usually reserve for Fortune 500 companies. And right now, you could actually try ShipStation free for 60 days when you use offer code RichRebuilds for selling whatever it is you're trying to sell on the internet. You could use it now or after you watch this entire episode. Make ship happen. And I didn't make that up, but I wish I did because it's really clever. I wasn't kidding. I'm at the post office right now, and I've actually shipped all my recent packages, including this one, using ShipStation.
But anyways, the battery from McLaren costs $156,000 to add very little benefit. To all the purists complaining about the authenticity of the car and how the P1 isn't a P1 anymore, well, guess what, guys? The P1 isn't a P1 anymore because he added a completely different body. You guys are definitely picking and choosing. You're touching yourselves when you saw the carbon fiber body kit, but that is not the original P1 body. Is it pro hybrid people keep saying that they want it, but they don't know why? They just watch Top Gear and they say, wow, that's amazing. Do you have any idea how many companies said that they could make it a battery for this car? Any idea? Many of them haven't yet because it's going to take a year. Let's reference this V-Engineering video.
One of the biggest things with the P1 at the moment is the battery.
What?
Always been a problem. So yeah, we lived all of those battery issues, taking batteries out of cars, sending them back to the manufacturer and getting them refurbished and coming back, and it was about a year. So V-Engineering has teamed up with the original guys that built this battery back in 2010. They all left, but they've all reformed. They've all come back together. And end of this year, we're going to be offering our own battery, which will be about 20% lighter than the original battery. All of those cells in that battery, regardless of a P1's age, were made in 2010. Okay. And when one of those little cells goes bad, it affects the whole battery and the battery has to come out. That procedure took about 1 month per battery, and so that's why a lot of P1 owners were in this never-ending queue of getting their battery fixed. Battery technology has moved on massively in the last 13 years.
Not even the people that made the battery originally could make them that fast. I can build Freddie a battery for his P1, but you're not going to see it anytime soon because it's going to take at least a year. Now, if Tavarish listened to any of you, the project would never get done. He has spent 11 episodes over the course of 7 months disassembling the car with no signs of reassembly in sight. How long do you think it's going to take to build, install, integrate a hybrid system, and then also trust and test it, a custom-built hybrid system in this vehicle and have it work? It's going to take forever for a very, very little cost-benefit ratio. It's going to be $100,000 for 170 horsepower with decreased reliability and outdated technology. When you install today's technology battery, it is outdated tomorrow. What do you think happened to the first generation Model S when the new Raven cars came out? More range, more power. The older cars were obsolete. Remember what happened when the first Tesla Model S came out and had 220 miles? That was crazy for an EV. Today, you wouldn't even buy that car. Minimum, it's 300. It dates the car. EV conversions. Remember how cool your EV conversion was when you built a lead acid powered Mazda Miata? Well, guess what? People don't use lead acid anymore. Congrats, you dated the car. When people buy EVs or even hybrids, even Mclaren P1s, they ask how many miles are left on the battery. If it's too low, guess what? Your car is walking towards obsolescence. In 10 more years, where do you think P1 batteries are going to be? In 20 more years, where do you think they're going to be? They don't age like engines. The F1 is still kicking. Not to mention the design is fundamentally flawed. You are limited with space on the block for the motor side. If you want to upgrade the motor, you can't because it's bolted to the block. You are limited in space, and if you wanted a 500 horsepower motor, it's too big and heavy to mount at the side of the block. The Speedtail also has a 300 horsepower, but a much smaller battery and much less power boost time. There are trade-offs, people. If the e-motor was on a separate axle, so it would be all-wheel drive and aid in accelerating like the i8 or NSX or SF90, I would understand it. Helping it pull itself out of corners, sure. But it's bolted to the side of the block because apparently McLaren doesn't know how to add more horsepower to their engines without sticking an electric motor up the I'm looking at you, Speedtail. People are upset because the series that they watch for free and the car they didn't pay for is going in the direction that they did not think it would. Here is a quick clip of Freddie's actual video.
So, pineapple under the sea over here?
So what that means is that since this is a hybrid hypercar and it had a ton of these are batteries that made it work, I have to make a decision, and I've made a decision to completely ditch the hybrid drive assembly. So this is just gonna be a car with a ton of power.
What he should have said was, instead of ditching the hybrid system, he's going to try to think of a plan to save 400 pounds so the car is almost as quick as a 765 LT. It's all about phrasing. Resale value was another argument the guy said. Guys, it was on top of a toilet. Nothing about this car is the same. There are modules from other cars, different wiring harnesses. It's not going to be the original paint color. The carbon tub has repair on it. Are we watching the same video? What about this car is original? The P1 is a great car, and much of what they discussed so far was how light the car is, how the windows are thinner, how the body is only a few panels, less hardware, and everything is lighter. That's what makes the P1 special. Now let's have some fun. Talking to a McLaren engineer, when you ask them what the iPass button is for, they'll say it's the integrated power assist. It's named iPass. It supplies a solid dose of electric boost when you press it. The problem is this happens automatically when you apply throttle. It's faster that way. And in order to make the iPass button work, you have to push a button marked boost, which holds the electric power back until you hit the button. And even the McLaren team laughed and said, they admit this is to impress your friends. McLaren themselves said it. Also, hybrid fanboys, more bad news. This is Top Gear's test of a 720S versus a P1. The 720S weighs more than the P1. The 720S has less horsepower than the P1, and they were within a half of a second of each other. And it has 200 horsepower less and weighs 200 pounds more than the P1, and they were within half a second. If they ran it again, they would have been dead even. No offense, but when my 720S is done, unless he removed the hybrid drive system, I'm going to drive down to Florida and personally wipe the floor with him and his P1. And I spent 600 grand less. I'll see you guys next week.